You're doing what? I'm confused.
Shh. We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Go to builtbar.com and use the promo code Locked On and get 15% off your next order. And you can get Locked On Astros on podcast app Himalaya, as well as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. When you get in car, tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Astros. So it was a great weekend. The Astros won a game. Yay! Yay! They got a win. They scored a whole run, and Zack Greinke dropped a ball and turned it into a double play. So that was pretty cool. That was actually really awesome. And after the game, he was like, "Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do. So I just looked around and I was like, oh, the guys didn't go. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw it to third base and try to get out. But the Astros got a win. They broke the losing streak, but unfortunately, the losing streak kind of busted whatever today. So the Astros are not very good right now. They are 7-8 on the season, but luckily they're going to have a day off. Then they're going to head to Colorado, who is not very good at the moment right now. But guys, we are doing a live stream via YouTube, via where else? Twitter.
We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're all over the place. I'm gonna get us over on Instagram hopefully here. But yeah, man, just thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. No matter what's going on, we got you covered with everything Astros.
Yeah, guys. So let's go and get started, and let's start a little bit about Jake Odorizzi. Jake Odorizzi made his second start as a Houston Astro, and he was kind of cruising there for a while. I think he retired 10 in a row, and I think 6 of them were on strikeouts. He was at 76 pitches, and then Myles Straw happened. Is it fair for me to say that Myles Straw happened, or is that a little bit too much pressure on that?
Here's the thing with the Astros and why I put Myles Straw in there on our little promo is there are a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people are expecting Myles Straw to be a world beater, but they're expecting Myles Straw to be a serviceable glove in the outfield and to basically roam center field with the efficiency of a professional center fielder. Now, saying that, not ever been a professional center fielder. I'm just going off of what I've seen. And we need his defensive production. We need him getting on base. And, even if he hits a single and scores a run, I'm fine with it. Even if he tracks out a fly ball. But if the ball has a 95% catcher rating, you need to catch those. And so, I think he's struggling. I think too, Eric, we got to look at this. I mean, we've got these, you've been calling them the baby Astros. I mean, you can't deny that when you have 3 major players, 4, like your starting catcher as well, out, that doesn't help any. And who knows, Myles Straw may be feeling the pressure right now. I'm not making excuses for him, but what do you think? Do you think it's a comfort thing with him, or do you think he's just kind of like bad luck with the glove, or what?
I just think that was just the ball. I don't think he thought the ball was going that far. I think that he was playing too far in. I think the sun got in his eye, and I think he got to where he needed to be. He just didn't get the glove to where it needed to be, and it just hit off the side of the glove. And unfortunately for the Astros, that went as a triple, I believe. And then the Mariners took the lead, and it was all downhill from there. I know after the game, Jake Odorizzi said that he told Myles Straw not to take that. Don't worry too much about that. Everybody makes that mistake. You're going to get those most of the times. You're going to get that a lot of the time. And yes, that is the case. But this is what he said. Don't let today affect moving forward. He makes that play a lot of the time. Yes, that's true, but this is supposed to be your everyday center fielder. This is the guy who's supposed to replace George Springer in the outfield. This is the guy that you say, you know what? We're not going to go out there and get the Jackie Bradley Jr.'s. We're not going to go out there and get the big name center fielder. We're going to go with Myles Straw. So we know that he's a good defender. We know that he can steal some bases, and we're going to ride and die with this guy. And unfortunately, that play died with him. But I'm not going to give up on him.
No, no, and that's not what I'm saying at all. Like I said, my criticism is tempered with some realistic expectations, and you do have elements that affect the game. You do have elements that affect the catches. But when your team is in this kind of a slump, these things become more glaring and become more reticent, like to the naked eye. It's like, oh my gosh, there's Myles Straw, the guy we're supposed to be depending on. And when we had guys like Jake Marisnick, who isn't a great bat, but was a great glove, you wonder, could Jake Marisnick help you? Hector Ray said, trade for Jake Marisnick. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But here's the thing. Myles Straw, from what he's shown and what he said in interviews, he's going to work, and I think he's going to work really hard, and this is going to bother him. He cares deeply. I would venture so far to say that you don't see him make another mistake like this for several games, because he's going to learn from it. He's going to go back and watch the film. Even if he was blinded by the sun, he's not going to make excuses. He's going to grind, and that's the thing I do like about the young team out there, is they're getting reps. And the thing is, though, they've got to go to Coors, and they've got to take these next two games. They can't give anything away from this point on.
When a team is struggling like the Astros are, especially with the 5 guys on the COVID-19 safety protocol, whatever we're calling this, when you have a bad break like that, that's just a backbreaker. The Astros won a game with only scoring 1 run, so you can't do that. But Myles Straw said that he said that somebody asked him, do you think that he had a shot at catching that ball? He said yes and yes. It was a tough sun at that point. It was directly behind home plate. I saw it at the last second, and sure enough, I just couldn't get to it. So yeah, Dusty Baker said it's still tough to take when you can only get 1 hit, and the 1 hit was a ball lost in the sun. So it was just a bad situation. And then Ron Self says Tucker's not doing enough, and I know that this was a bold move by Dusty Baker. You have somebody who's a superstar for the Astros in making. He's off to a rough start, but then Dusty Baker put him in the leadoff hole. And I know Myles Straw was not looking great there, but then you put Kyle Tucker in there. So we haven't talked about that yet, but
Yeah.
I actually like that move. And he had a few good swings in Saturday's game, but it's his batting average is not looking like a leadoff hitter right now.
No, yeah, not Myles Straw. Kyle Tucker, you would think, contact hitter, he has power, he's got speed. Okay, why not lead off? But right now, Eric, I don't know that it matters who's in that leadoff spot. The bottom line is I can't look at the box score and Aledmys Diaz have the only hit. So we've got to go deeper than that leadoff. Again, we've got holes right now. We got people out, key players out. That's massive. But even when those guys were in, let's not be foolish. They weren't performing either. So it's not like their presence would all of a sudden remedy this. I mean, Aledmys Diaz got the only hit,
Remedy. Sorry.
Oh, you're thinking about a song, Let's Go Karaoke, right? That's almost like what we need to do. I was like, okay, we got the win. We're going to win Sunday, and we're going to go 3-1 on the road trip. No, my optimism failed me.
Oh, by the way, speaking of whatever we're just talking about, Peter Solomon made his major league debut today, and
Yes.
we don't really know who's going to be the Astros starter in Tuesday's game. We'll have to talk about that in a second. But Peter Solomon, this is a guy that a lot of people have a lot of high expectations for, but he looked really good today, and so maybe he could start that game Tuesday. Maybe he can come in as a what do you call it? A long guy, the kind
A
of
long reliever, like maybe
the bulk guy, the guy who comes in as a 3-inning guy, maybe. But I don't think that puts him in line to start if Lance McCullers is not able to start. So
could you use him as a starter, as like an opener, 3 to 4 innings, and then but who would you bring in after him? In that, who would be that other long relief guy?
That's a good point. So it kind of brings me up about a kind of the whole Nile thing. So let's talk about Blue Nile.
Blue Nile. Let's talk about Blue Nile. Where is it?
Not the best lead in, but this
No.
episode is brought to you by
Thank you.
1010, a capsule collection of diamond rings that are responsibly sourced, limited edition designs at a fair price point. 1010 is a exclusive collection of 10 creative styles of diamond rings designed by 10 of the most distinctive designers working today. Rings sure to bring joy into her life. Using only diamonds responsibly sourced from Botswana. 10 female designs masters have produced uniquely beautiful ring, ideal for engagement, Mother's Day, or simply a beautiful conversation piece. They're the perfect way to bring the light into her life. They're available now through Mother's Day only at BlueNile.com. Just search the word 10 by 10. If you're
Yeah.
on the hunt for the perfect unique ring she'll treasure forever, you're definitely going to want to check this out. It won't be long around for long, so find them now by searching the words 10 by 10 only at BlueNile.com.
Okay. Let me help you out there, Eric. I had the wrong ads pulled up. I had like April 5th through the 9th. I couldn't find
It's
Blue
fine.
Nile.
It's
Eric,
fine.
good job. Good job, man.
So let's just
That's a
talk
new
about
read. Let's go.
betsonline.ag.
Okay, betonline.ag has you covered with all your sports betting. It's the fastest and easiest way to bet online. Football is definitely over. The NBA and college basketball is in full swing. The NHL is going. MLB is going. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. Real-time, updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. Head to the website or use a mobile device. And when you sign up, you get your 50% welcome bonus when you use the promo code Locked On. Bet Online, your sportsbook experts. Hey, man, we're here to provide facts and fun and entertainment.
Yes, for sure. And Brett does that one a lot better than I do. So anyway, yeah, Peter Solomon did really good today. I know it was only one inning, but he looked like he belongs. And so the Astros have a lot of decisions to make, especially with we don't know who's going to be starting on Tuesday. And if for those of y'all that don't know, Lance McCullers after his last start had to be hooked up with some IVs because he had the COVID vaccination and he was having some issues with it. And I believe he's still having some breathing issues. And Baker said on Sunday that he was monitoring how his breathing is. And when you go to Coors Field and you're having breathing issues, that's kind of like reading that ad and not having read it before. It's kind of like not prepping for that.
Dude, it's like when we got off the COG train that I don't even know if it's still running in Colorado Springs at Pikes Peak. You literally walk from the train to the gift shop and you're like, I'm done. Like you got no breath. I mean, you're winded. Yeah. So yeah, they're definitely not going to take chances with Lance McCullers. And we definitely hope as a friend of the show that he gets better and that he has a speedy recovery, because that is definitely no fun.
Yeah, Dusty Baker said, you're always apprehensive, taking a real chance going into the altitude. It's always tough enough to deal with. We'll make a decision here shortly. And so we'll see. But I don't know. I know watching the game, we didn't really notice that Lance McCullers was feeling not well. I know some people said, well, he didn't really look great. But after the game, we heard that he wasn't feeling great. So hopefully he can get back out there. But otherwise, we don't know who the Astros are going to be starting. I know Jose Urquidy will be starting on Sunday. Not Sunday, Wednesday. And an option, I don't know when the last time, I can't remember off the top of my head, last time Christian Javier pitched, but he could possibly be called up if needed. But that would be a big if. I know that he's supposed to be coming back for the games later that week. So he's supposed to be joining sometime that week. So later this week in Anaheim series. So I don't know what they're going to do. They may just have a bullpen type of day if McCullers can't go, or they may have Solomon go. They may have Brandon Bielak go. Luis
here's
Garcia.
The deal. The Rockies are 4-12. If there's ever been a floodgate open for wins, hey.
With the way the Astros are playing, it doesn't matter.
They
can play your Little League team. I'm kidding.
Hey, man, let's not just let you do. I'm just saying we should have tied the game at one point. One of our players slid home, Eric. His entire leg scratched the plate. There's even a mark from his cleat. the pitcher tagged him on his hip. Umpire called him out, and that would have tied the game. It killed the momentum. We ended up losing 4-2. That team, though, the first time we played them, they were the Astros. They beat us 19-4. So we
So they
came
must
back
have
and
been
played
using
them.
trash cans. Sorry about that.
I think they had a center field camera too.
All right, so Jake Odorizzi today, speaking of starters, he did look a lot better. I talked about it earlier, but he went 4 1/3 innings pitch. He only allowed 3 hits. He did. I know the stats are a little bit skewed with that fifth inning, but he allowed 4 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. But there's a little controversy with Dusty Baker's bullpen usage recently, and I would have, if it were me, I would have maybe left him in to face Ty France, and then maybe brought in Brooks Raley to face the next guy. But I don't Seager. So I don't know. I don't understand what Dusty Baker's doing recently. He's just making all these weird decisions. And
here's the thing. I hate to make excuses for people. I mean, Dusty Baker's long in the tooth with baseball, so I mean, he knows what he's doing. But let's not pretend that he doesn't have a shortage almost everywhere on the field. Let's not pretend that he's also got relievers that are coming in and not doing their job. You have Presley one night come in and give up the walk-off. Then you have him come in the next night and he gets the win. I mean, he gets the save. And so it's definitely back and forth, up and down. And it's very night or day. It's very Jekyll and Hyde. So I would think those are tough. Like anybody can armchair quarterback to death Dusty Baker's moves. But here's the thing. If he makes these moves and they work, everybody thinks he's a genius. So he's only a fool if they don't work out. But if they work out, and you're right. Odorizzi did pitch. Oh, I thought he pitched a lot better than the first one. Maybe he's an away ballpark pitcher. But yeah, you're right.
Also, he's still building up endurance. So he's looking good in the first 4 innings. Now he's hit the 5th inning, and he kind of. I know we had that issue with the Myles Straw catch, but he's still having that issue going deep into the game. So that's something we have to talk about. So I know that Haley Duggan says that Astros been struggling. It's tough, and it's been more than just the 5 position players missing. Yes, the struggles were before these guys were missing as well. And people were asking about how long are these guys out? I believe that we don't know anything about them, but we do know that they've been cleared to work out individually.
Yeah.
So I guess that means they can go in their hotel and run in hallways. They can
go to the ballroom and take ground balls or throw the ball against the wall and catch it. But there is literally no timetable. I've looked it over. I've tried to find it, and it's really obscure and kind of ambiguous the way that it's all set up. The fact that there was one player that tested positive, yeah, I still think to this day that they should have not played that game, because there's so many other teams that are having the same issues, but yet they're talking about postponing an entire series. And it may not be anything sinister. It just appears that the Astros get the short end of the stick. World Traveler's asking, why were the Astros games? Okay, that's what we're saying. We don't know. Now, the one
James
game
Click actually addressed this a little bit.
Oh, did he?
As much as he can say. So
okay.
He said, we have a lot of questions why we're continuing to play while the Twins were not. We're continuing to work on those questions, those explanations. We're working closely with MLB on that. Unfortunately, we don't have any updates. And he said that one difference between the Astros and Twins, there are nuances between the various situations in terms of threats and concerns about further spread in the clubhouse, and that necessitated shutting things down. It's easy for you to say.
Necessitated.
There
we go.
But anyway, according to John Heyman today, he's the only one reporting this stuff, so I don't know where he's getting this, but he said that the running report is that Twins are holding at 3 positive COVID-19 people. The Astros have 1. So that's something that we're not seeing, but John Heyman and all his magical brilliance is
blocking magical brilliance. Yeah.
In other words, World Traveler, we don't know. We really don't know what's going on. And I think it had to do with the fact that Corpus Christi was so close. The Astros had the opportunity to get those players here, while the Twins did not. And they had multiple players, while the Astros maybe just had that one player, and maybe it just all depends on the situation. But even Lance McCullers had some issues with that as well. So,
hey, there's a question that I don't think I know the answer to. Who is the team captain on the squad this year? Is it Carlos Correa? I mean, is there a
nobody stepped
captain?
up.
Okay,
Nobody stepped up so far this year.
but I
It
mean,
should be Carlos Correa.
well, like in the NFL where they have the C on their chest and they have like the stars, how many years they've been captain, like for the offense and defense. Baseball didn't have something like that, but typically, you're like Craig Biggio is your captain, or
It'll
Brad
be
Austin.
Altuve. If it'll be anybody, it'll be Jose Altuve, and it'll
True.
be old Derek Jeter type, Jose Altuve type of person. But I don't think we have that. But you know what? I do think we have. We have Built Bar.
That's right. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the business. Let me tell you, folks, stop right there. If you've had a protein bar and it's not Built Bar, I'm sorry. Apologize to your stomachs now and go to BuiltBar.com and order Built Bar, because right now, if you use the promo code LOCKED15, you'll get 15% off your first order. A free cooler with purchase will come along with it while supplies last. Let me tell you something about coconut almond. I'm not a big fan of coconut, but coconut almond Built Bar, it's pristine. It's amazing. 18 grams of protein, 180 calories, 5 grams of sugar, and 5 grams of net carbs, wrapped in 100% chocolate. That's right, 100% chocolate. It is low calorie, low sugar, high protein, high fiber, great for the keto diet. If you're trying to maintain or lose weight and you're going to the bar, slam a Built Bar. Go to BuiltBar.com and use LOCK15 for that promo code, and you will not be sorry. Tell them H-Town Wheelhouse sent you.
You know what? This is water, but you know what I'd love to have in here? Some Belching Beaver.
Belching Beaver, man. Let me tell you something about Belching Beaver. This place is awesome. It started in 2012 in California. They actually just signed a deal towards the end of this last year with ambient distributors to distribute Belching Beaver throughout Texas. So you need to go to belchingbeaver.bev to check out where you can find that. But if you happen to be in California, happen to go to California, they have an Oceanside Brew House, Pub 980, North Park Tasting Room, and a Tavern and Grill. And they make everything from hard seltzers to beers to stouts to milk stouts, IPAs galore, any palate, anything you want. And if you're a music fan, they have a special collaboration with the Deftones. They actually have 2 beers now. My favorite is the Phantom Bride. It's phenomenal. The Simcoe, the citrus, the hops. It is music to your mouth, and you put your headphones on, have a damn good time. Belchingbeaver.com.
Okay, so I think the next thing on the agenda for the Astros is getting everybody the second round of the COVID-19 shots, and they don't want to have a second appearance of what happened with Lance McCullers, and they don't want everybody to get it done at the same time, because I don't know everybody's reaction, but most of the people, the second dose is what kind of hits you, and so they don't want everybody on the team going to get it, and then all of a sudden everybody can't play
the
ball.
whole team can't play. Yeah, that would suck, dude.
Yeah, so this is what Click had to say about this. If we got 20, 30 guys getting shot, we don't want to have a whole team out there that's fatigued. I'm optimistic we'll get there, but we are working through logistical hurdles. And they're still trying to get to that 85% mark so they can go to the clubs and go out to restaurants and everything, because that Zack Greinke wants to be able to bring his kids back to the clubhouse and everything.
I thought you wanted Zack Greinke to go to the clubs. I was like, no. It's like Zack Greinke is not going to any clubs.
No, I read the article today, and I think it was in Chronicle, and he's like, yeah, 2020 was boring. I couldn't bring my kids to the ballpark, and there was no fans, and there's no point.
This guy, Eric, this guy has got to be the life of the party when the cameras are off. There's no way he keeps this deadpan around his family. I mean, his kids are so joyous. His wife, she's got a pretty strong presence on social media. She seems to be bubbly, but then maybe they're like opposites attract kind of thing. But I think he plays it up a little bit, kind of like Bill Belichick does with the Patriots. There's no way that guy's that smug, and there's no way that Zack Greinke is that just checked out of everything. He's not. I think he plays it up a little bit. He's pretty smart.
Yeah, a World Traveler said it's the second dose. She's actually a critical care doctor, but yeah,
oh, wow.
I've heard it's pretty. Luckily, I had it pretty good, but most people it's not so they're not so lucky. So a lot of people said that not they're not going to judge Odorizzi yet. We're not really critical of him yet. He's just not built up yet, and it's going to take him some time to build up that endurance to kind of go deep into games. And like World Traveler said, he didn't have a full spring training. The Astros signed him late, so he's still working his way up. So
Well,
speaking of Zack Greinke, he made some comments, and he had the chance to pitch a complete game shutout the other day,
yes,
but Dusty Baker pulled him in favor of Ryan Presley, and you would think that he would kind of be whining about that and saying, no, he should let me stay in. There's only so often I can actually pitch a complete game.
right.
But he said that he had more confidence in Presley getting the last 3 outs in the ninth inning than he had in himself trying to get the final 3 outs the fourth time through the order.
No, and
Only
that's
he's going to say that.
but here's the thing though. That is the true mark of a veteran who is a team player and B is on the track for somewhere like the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, just because to be aware of that and not be selfish, because he is older. He's not going to get a ton of opportunities to do that. So I thought that was really cool. And it shows that he believes in the trust the Astros have, because it seems like Baker was going to give it to him, but Greinke was like, hey, give it to Presley. And so that's a good thing. So we have to look at the positives, because it's not a bed of roses when you look at the standings and the Astros are 7-8 and the Rangers are 7-9 and we're in fourth. No, I'm being serious, but there are bright spots and there are things that you have to look at. At some point though, Eric, they have to turn it around. There's no excuses. You put 9 players on the field, just like the other team, you've got to score more runs, period, end of story.
Yeah, before we move on to Joe Smith, I know a lot of people are kind of down on Joe Smith, but Dusty Baker said, I thought about it, but that's why Presley is the closer. That's why you have a closer. Had we lost the game with the closer still in the dugout, you guys would have killed me. Greinke didn't fight it at all. And so Presley said, after he heard Greinke's comment there, he said, that's pretty nice compliment coming from him. So but basically, for those of y'all that didn't get to see that play, Zack Greinke had a ball that was basically hit right at him, and he bobbled it, couldn't find it at first, so the runners ran back to the bag, and then he threw the ball to third base, and then Toro threw it to second base, and they got a double play that basically saved the whole, possibly a big inning in that inning. And so, but I think Martin Maldonado says that's Greinke being Greinke, and that's a Gold Glove play, just pretending like he misplayed that just to get the double play there.
No, yeah, definitely. And to kind of go off this Joe Smith stuff, Eric, when you look at his stats, dude, they are not at all what we expected them. Like everybody's like, yes, we got Joe Smith back.
Well, he didn't play last year.
No, I know. Let me finish my point. Like he had a whole season off, and if anybody knows anything about what these pro athletes are about, is they're creatures of habit, and their bodies are fine tuned. I mean, even when we talked to Julie Morales and Jeff Blum on the show, even their routine is screwed up, and they're not even players, right? But right now he's 0-1. He's got a 14.54 ERA, 7 games, only 4.1 innings pitched, and only 4 strikeouts. So there's definitely some things that he probably has to work on. His location is abysmal right now. And I think that year off it's tortured whatever he's doing or not doing right. So someone like Joe Smith is a veteran. He's been around for a while. He's going to fix things. He's not going to stay at 14.54. But he's got to go out and have some clean innings. But you can't stop throwing him out there. And someone had mentioned Josh James. Do we even know about him and his return or anything about? I don't even know. Right now. I'm not privy to it.
No, I saw a semi-report on Framber Valdez, and by report, James Click said we're not ready to put a timetable on it, but he's progressing faster than we anticipated. So I don't know what that means, but the only good news the Astros have to look forward to is the Rockies are 4-12. They have lost 8 of the last 9, but the Astros are what? They've lost 6 out of the last 7, or what is it?
Yes.
So the Astros aren't much better, but hopefully the Astros will get some offense back at Coors Field and then get some things going. And no, it's not just. I don't think it's just about the guys they're missing. I just think that whatever. But I saw this note. This is the first time the Astros have been held to 1 hit since September 30th, 2018.
Wow.
And that was in Baltimore. And that was the final game of the 2018 season. So,
really?
Yeah, the Astros have. Oh, here it is. They have lost 7 of their last 8 games. So the Astros have lost 7 of their last 8 games. I got it wrong. I think I said 6 out of the last 7 games.
Yeah, you did.
So the Astros
6 out of 7,
are
7 out of 8.
whatever.
They basically lost a lot more than they've won.
So yeah, the Astros are free falling. Free falling for sure. I'm not gonna start singing.
Now wait, hey, who's hold on? Who's being negative now? Like, come on, man. I didn't say they were free falling. But Andre Scrub is still on the 10-day IL. I don't know when his date for return is, but the thing is with the Astros, it's one game at a time. You can't worry about your record. You can't worry about what you've done before. You've got to worry about what you're doing right now. And I don't care what the batting order is, Eric. I don't care who leads off. It's not about where you hit. It's about what you do with your spot in the lineup. And when Leibniz Diaz is the only guy that gets a hit, there's not a single percent lineup that would have gone to lead off and they would have done anything different because they didn't get any hits. They would have hit the ball in 3 like they hit the ball in 1. You see what I'm saying? If they went 0 for 4 in the 3, they're not going to go 0 for. They're going to go 0 for 4 in the leadoff too. You've got to put the bat on the ball.
All righty. Since tomorrow's our off day, do you want to go and do a locker room tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Oh, that's right. Yeah. You know what?
Monday locker room.
Well, I've got to.
Well, we'll have to talk about this. But
we'll
anyway,
talk about it because I've got to look at my baseball schedule.
Well, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Thank you for everybody for interacting on all the social media, and we will talk to you tomorrow. And go Astros! And hopefully, we'll get some victories in Coors Field and go Astros.
I predict tomorrow the Astros will not lose.